Welcome to the Comedy Here Often podcast. I'm your host, Kevvy. This week on the show, my guests are Amber Harper-Young and Jackie Hoffart. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. I really liked how you guys were discussing before we started how to get out of work. Yeah. What was your move?
Oh, it's Jackie's move.
So I put Tiger Balm all over my nose.
Yeah.
And if you do that, I don't really recommend it unless you're trying to get out of work, but it'll make you immediately start crying and it'll plug up your nose. And anyway, it sounds very believable.
Right. So you show up, you're in tears.
Oh, I just called in. I was like, I can't even breathe.
See, I do that on purpose with wasabi. Like I'm like really edgy and risky and impressive that way.
Yeah.
You know, I really like to take it to the edge.
It really worked at Dairy Queen. They don't want you to show up. Yeah, they don't want you to show up sick.
Please tell me some Dairy Queen stories, because Chris Griffin was in here and he had some good ones.
Yeah. My favorite thing about working at Dairy Queen was that I found it so stressful not to be able to touch the food all day long.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, when you're like emptying out the machines and you dump all the, at that point, quite liquidy ice cream into the sink, I would just sink my hands into it really intensely, like just to get out the
most satisfying thing I've ever heard. Steve, you can laugh out loud. Steve, can you come on camera for a second?
Careful.
This is, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He's training to be an uncle, I think, of a pig.
Feels similar, if not identical.
This is what babies feel like.
Babies
I
are
assume.
this actually squishy when they're newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have bones.
They don't?
No.
You have a very good analogy for a newborn
I love
baby
it.
Yeah. It's so bad.
Amber, what's your analogy?
They're like Ziploc bags of soup. That's one of my new jokes.
I really like that.
Now I'm getting out of visiting my sister's baby when it's newborn. I'm like, I'm not coming all the way to Australia for a Ziploc bag of soup.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
know.
great excuse.
Several months later.
You said that to her?
To the baby. Said, maybe if you pay for my flight, baby. Yeah.
Maybe if you could grow some bones.
Yeah, grow some bones, loser.
Get a job.
Babies should pull their weight more, I think. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Thanks, Steve. I knew we were on the same
No,
page.
I also have like I ponder it a lot. I'm really jealous of course, like white men's like ability to take up space, but also babies and toddlers because they just say and do whatever they want.
It's so true.
They go into the restaurant. They demand the highest chair. You know.
The audacity.
They scream whenever they want. You know, I wish I could, have that ability to express myself.
That's a good point. Yeah.
We had a whole thread going this weekend about this at Graham's 24-hour thing, but I'm just insanely jealous of babies in snowsuits, like in a stroller with snacks. Like to me, it's just
that's you could do that.
Living. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Amber would push you around.
Sure,
I would.
I like that.
It would probably go over in the downtown east side.
Yeah, I think we could.
I don't think anyone would question
could do that here.
No one would even bat an eye. They'd be like, yeah, cool.
I was talking about Vancouver and kind of like how nothing is shocking here. And the best way to explain that in Vancouver in general was one time I was walking over the Broad Street Bridge and coming the other way was like hundreds of naked cyclists. And I was like, oh yeah, that's today. That's Vancouver.
Yeah.
Nothing's shocking.
Okay, so I just have to say this then. On my way here, going down Main, just about to pass East Hastings, I had to take a cab because I have no ability to manage my time. So I'm in a cab on my phone, and my friggin' door just slides open.
Of the cab?
I was like, oh my God. And there's this guy like just standing there like, oh, sorry. And he closed the cab door again.
Like he was trying to just get in?
He was trying to get in the cab while it was moving.
That pisses me
It was
off
still moving.
for a plethora of reasons. When the cab light is not on, it is not available.
Yeah.
Stop trying to hail it. And then when it drives by, let's get a fucking cab driver on here right now.
Where is he?
If it's not on, why are you trying to hail it? And then why do you look offended when it drives by? You ever seen that? Where they're trying to hail it, you're in it, and then they drive by and the guy's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the cab drivers sometimes don't turn it off, though.
I wouldn't know, I guess. If I'm inside it.
Yeah.
The only
you
reason,
can't see.
Like, I'll sometimes hail them is because I know that they'll tell their friends, and then they'll send another cab my way. Tell your
Oh.
friends.
Oh, that's a good move. Okay, see? I need to be more considerate.
I've had a lot of adrenaline-filled cab rides lately. Like, I had one, I was just coming home from a late show, and I was like coming through the intersection. I was on my phone again, distracted, and I looked up, and a car was headed straight to like T-bone us.
Oh my god!
And then the cab driver just did this like amazing stunt driving, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" And I was like screaming, and then I was like, "We almost just died. Thank you so much. You have like such great driving skills." He's like, "No, I was watching the other cab driver." He was like,
it was
already knew.
Oh, I see.
He already knew the other cab driver was going to be uber aggressive, so like he like had a feeling.
But like jujitsu'd you.
I looked up, and then like we were just quiet for a second, and then we both started laughing hysterically.
Wow.
I was like, that was so fun. I almost died. I'm like, I haven't almost died in so long.
It's funny that you tried to compliment him and then he wouldn't accept it. Also, like, because you were like, "Man, you're such a good driver." He's like, "No, I just foresaw that accident." You're like, still the same compliment.
Yeah,
you're still good. I don't know
Yeah.
why you're making this so difficult.
It was so scary, but so like invigorating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a cab driver once who he was telling me that he loved it when people threw up in his cab because he could charge them the cleaning rate and then he just cleaned it himself.
He loved it.
He's like, "I love when that happens. I love Friday and Saturday nights. I make so much more money." I'm like, "How many people are puking in your cab?" He's like, "Lots of them."
That's no good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Vancouver.
That's
right there.
biohazard.
Yeah, yeah.
I was in a cab recently where, like, I flagged it on Main Street, and then the guy pulled over and let me in, and then another cab immediately cut him off and forced him to make me move into the other cab because it turns out he was like a Richmond cab, and they're not allowed to pick up people in town. Like, any cab companies that aren't Vancouver based can't pick up Vancouver drivers or passengers.
It's a hierarchy.
Yeah, and so he forced me to get out and get into the other cab.
It shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man, because when you get into a cab, there's a sense of relief. That's the whole point of
I'm
the
like,
cab.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Only to be kicked out of the cab and put in another one.
Yeah.
I've
I was
had,
like, do I get a discount? Like, what?
yeah.
But no.
Did you have to pay for that first one?
No, thankfully. No, I mean, I hadn't really gone anywhere. Yeah.
She didn't throw up in it.
By the end of that ride, though, I mean, honestly, I was like, we started talking about ride-hailing services, and I ended up I was like, you should become a Teamster. It's like unionized, there's better money. And he was like, all right, okay, yeah, how do you do that? I'm like, just Google it, and you could work in the film industry, and like,
oh, man,
it's fine. Like, the hours are terrible, but he was like, all right, okay, cool. I was like, stop cutting people off. Stealing passengers.
Yeah,
it's gonna get better for you.
I get stressed out with people. Bye, Lauren. Bye, Steve.
Bye.
Congratulations, Steve, on your new pig.
Stay here the whole time.
You're allowed to. I get really stressed out with bad drivers, and I'm in LA a lot, and it's the home of the worst drivers. And it's like, it's not even that it's like, it's half aggressive and half not paying attention. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And it's like the Olympics. Like, it's like you're merging on and you have to exit and get across 5 lanes. It's like bad drivers and bad conditions.
And way more people.
Yeah.
Also.
I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
To Los Angeles.
I told myself
exactly
I'll go
like,
next year.
You should go.
Yeah.
It's fun.
What were you gonna say?
It's like it's exactly like everyone says.
Yeah.
It's beautiful and highways.
It's the only city I can think of, the only major city where downtown is the worst part. Like, usually downtown of cities has the best shopping and the coolest things to do. Downtown LA is a prison cafeteria. It's awful.
Prison cafeteria?
Yeah, you know how uncomfortable you'd be if you're in a prison cafeteria?
Oh, I
That's
see.
the feeling on the streets of Los Angeles.
Ooh.
Like, everyone there is addicted to this app where it tells you what crimes have been committed around you, and it's updating all the time. Like, when I was there, literally, my friend Annie was like, check this out, and it said, man has 2 axes.
Oh my god.
Where'd you get 2 axes?
I couldn't read that. I wouldn't be able to remain in that environment.
The app area. At all?
I wouldn't be able to remain wherever like that stuff was happening because I'd just be too preoccupied. I wouldn't be able to focus on whatever the hell I was doing. Yeah, I'd be like, wah.
I know it is like that. But all you can hope is that person runs into another person like that, and then they'd have a showdown. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's what the app's for.
That's how you win on the app.
Bring those people together.
Yeah. Oh, there's a person like me 2 blocks over.
It's like swipe left.
And then they're like, I can be only one, and then they have a fight. Yeah. But when I was there like a couple months ago, someone shot someone, ran across the street into a building, never was found. Got away with it.
Oh my god.
You just
an
assume.
employee.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just put his uniform back on.
Still wearing the smock.
Did I just solve it?
I think he solved it.
God. No.
Oh man.
Crime fighting here.
What is your day job now?
Oh, I'm a peer support worker for the Downtown Eastside Women's Center.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit
maybe
different.
Maybe that's a bad thing.
It's a little bit different than Dairy Queen.
Yeah, there's like a drop-in center that's working in the daytime. 302 Columbia, and then there's also a shelter that has 60 beds that runs 24 hours.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So do you do kind of like graveyard shifts and stuff there?
Well, I did actually, like last Christmas, I did graveyard throughout Christmas because I wasn't going home and I wanted to be valuable.
Yeah.
So I did that last year, but this year I'm gonna go home and see my family.
Where's home?
Ontario.
Okay.
There's no place like home. Yeah.
I remember when I was recording you for the Yuck Yucks compilation, which just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Buy it now.
Plug.
Yeah. You had some material about that.
I did.
Just about your gig, yeah. I think it was.
I can't even remember what's
someone
on
stuck
there.
you with a needle one time.
Oh yeah. I got pricked with a needle. I've like pricked other people with needles for positive reasons because they're ODing. So,
oh yeah, I've done that.
I've done that. So I'm very, I don't know, needle aware. I don't know, educated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the stigma's kind of gone for you.
I often have to remove them from our environments. Just put them in the sharps and.
Yeah.
Sometimes, respond to emergencies, which is quite crazy. But you know what's really weird? I think that my life experience helps, but I think also stand-up has helped, and being a performer has helped because you understand how to deal with your nerves in those scenarios. Yeah. So everyone just yells for me a lot of the time because they know I've done it before, and I appear to be calm. But I'm not. But,
Well, you're probably calmer than them.
Yeah, so they think I'm, like, legit, like, know how to do stuff like that. And I guess I do now because I've done it a few times, so, yeah.
Well, keeping your composure is probably top of the skill
Yeah, the
set.
first time I ever did it, I thought I was going to stick myself.
Wow.
Like, because your hand's shaking so much, you have to...
Yeah.
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 Well, if you've done it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I had a friend I needed to do that for... but I live like right by a hospital, so it was like, that's a good place to live if you have a friend like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel how I thought it would feel.
No,
it's not like Pulp Fiction.
It's nothing like Pulp Fiction.
No, and
nowhere
like,
near as fun.
when I saw Pulp Fiction, they do it in the sternum, and that's really hard, and I feel like that would gross me out even further than, if you do it in the leg, which is where my go-to place.
It's your go-to place?
Yeah, that's my style.
It's like my top 3.
My Narcan style.
Yeah. It's Amber's signature move.
Yeah. It's weird.
What was your job before that job?
Oh, I just want to say this joke because I stab people to life.
Very talented.
Yeah, which is weird, but also better than my last job, murderer.
Really turning things around.
So one of my new bits too. Thanks. I'll just do bits this
whole
just
podcast. Workshops and stuff like me and Alexi. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Good audience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What kind of drunk assholes did you experience at Dairy Queen? Probably a lot.
No. I mean, this is Calgary in the 90s. It's
the perfect place to get drunk.
Yeah, nobody really. I
really?
mean,
was it your first job?
It was my first job. My first proper job.
Did anyone come in and just request disgusting, crazy things?
I don't remember anything weird.
Like, I remember I had friends who worked at McDonald's, and people would be like, they'd be like, someone came in and ordered a 15 patty burger. So I just assumed at Dairy Queen, which is the hype.
Yeah.
You don't like that? Amber's not into
I mean, sometimes there was like a 32-ounce Blizzard you could get.
Of all the things we discussed, she's like, ew. Puking in cabs, I'm fine with that. And sorry, go on.
No, I do remember there being like a 32-ounce Blizzard. So like, that's pretty big. That's like a big gulp.
She can't handle food stuff.
But I also, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the most dramatic thing that happened when I was working at Dairy Queen was that was the same year that McDonald's launched the McFlurry,
Oh, come
which
on.
is such a transparent ripoff of a Blizzard. And a much worse one, I'll say for the record, forever.
Okay.
Dairy Queen.
Heard it here first.
But
Represent.
totally. I
Well,
still love
Blizzards
the
have way more
DQ.
options.
Yeah, and it's like a deeper mix.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
I
they do that
find
thing where they hang it upside down to show you how good it is.
they're like,
Yeah.
look, yeah,
There is
this ice
pageantry,
cream
thank
is
you.
made of plastic.
No, it's made of milk. I know. I would
It
put my hands
tastes
in
like silicone or plasticky, the McDonald's one,
Yeah.
compared to
McDonald's, yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
Dairy Queen.
The old frozen milk.
I like all the urban legends about what McDonald's food is really made of because I remember someone saying that ice cream was made of chicken feathers or something. Amber, I'm so sorry. She's like, get me out of here. Get me back into some.
I don't know why my eyes are starting to water. I think it's because I'm like trying to hold in like, I just like I don't throw up, but I have like a
Gag reflex?
psychological gag reflex.
Good old queasy Amber. His nerves of steel in some ways.
No, but I have a story about that because I was vegetarian quite early in my life. So I was like vegetarian when I was like 11 or something.
Yeah.
And I remember eating an ice cream cone. I was sitting in my caravan and my boyfriend at the time said to me, like the ice cream here is made of animal fat. And I just chucked it out the window.
Vegetarian from there on out.
I just threw it out the window and he laughed really hard. And then he said, I'm joking. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm grossed out now.
I'm
so.
done.
No more ice cream ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
risk
yeah,
it.
I've heard all that stuff. Like the meat's not even really real meat. Meal reat.
Meal reat. That's what the title of this episode is called. Meal
reat.
reat.
That's what it's
Just so
made
you
out
know,
of.
this is a segment on the show as we figure out a title live on the show.
I like that.
Meal reat. Love
Beat that.
dyslexia.
Yeah.
Love it. What's your favorite urban legend?
Urban legend.
Yeah, like I like the one we're talking about now that it's like, yeah, McDonald's ice cream's made of chicken feathers. How would that even work? Like, I feel like it's probably a powder.
Yeah, I think that that doesn't even work like
Yeah.
material wise.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you have any like sense of logic.
Have you ever grinded up chicken feathers? It's nothing like that. Doesn't taste like vanilla.
I don't know, urban legends. I haven't thought about them in a while. But one thing for some reason that comes to mind is like, when you were a kid and you would do those like crack an egg on your head, let the yolk run down. So like we used to do this one called Blue Baby in the mirror at sleepovers.
Oh, it's scaring the shit out of
Maybe
me
like
already.
blue baby, blue baby, blue baby in the mirror. At a certain point, like a blue baby is supposed to show up in the reflection of the
Why
mirror.
blue? Because it's dead?
No way.
Wow.
That stuff for real scared me. Like Candyman and
Yeah.
Bloody Mary and stuff. I still believe it.
Yeah.
Same. I don't want to test it.
Yeah, I don't want to test it. I've never tried
I
it.
do want to kind of do all those things again, like have a sleepover and like do all the things you used to do when you were a kid. Like I've been
Like
thinking
chug a
about.
2-liter of Coke.
Oh
sick.
yeah,
So
big
gross.
time. Pop some VHS in there.
Blow on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should do that. That would be a good live stream.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
you just test out all the slumber party things you were afraid to do when you were younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any other ones besides Candyman, but I'm sure there are some.
There's like a Bloody Mary one where I think like it was similar to Blue Baby, where it's like
I hate Blue Baby.
I can't
just
remember how
found
the
out
Bloody
about it and I
Mary one
hate it.
went though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't remember how that went.
I think it was pretty much the same, and you say it in the mirror, and then you shut off the light behind, and then she's supposed to come up behind you.
Oh, like the old lady or something, right? Oh god.
The movie Candyman was, I just watched it again, and you know how that one works. You say Candyman in the mirror. I think it's, what?
I don't know. I just remembered the
Very
movie.
emotional episode. For Amber. I think you say it 3 times in the mirror, and then he appears and he has a hook for a hand and he kills you. But when I was watching the movie, I'm a dork. Like I like reading about the trivia of the movie I'm watching while I'm watching it, and then I was reading about how Candyman was based on a real event where in New York the mirrors of people's bathrooms, it was an easy point of entry for people to break in was through the bathroom mirror, and so that was happening where a guy was breaking in through people's bathroom mirrors and killing them. So
Were you
let's
reading
do
the
the slumber
trivia
party.
because you didn't want to be alone with the movie?
I think so.
Ooh,
I think
breaking
I have
it
focus
down.
problems and I have to do several things at once to
Yeah,
feel
me too.
comfortable.
Sure.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say though?
Yeah,
you
sorry I
had
cut you off.
No, I just thought maybe she has like another urban legend?
No, I mean, I didn't really, but I had an older cousin who used to tell me and my sister a bunch of scary things, like the classic, you go to sleep and your dolls come to life. And
I
like
that one.
Speaking of being lonely, that sounds great.
Yeah. And like that if I mean, I don't know if this is true. I don't think so, but like that you would suffocate if you fell asleep with the sheets over your head.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
that's terrifying to
I
tell
never heard
kids.
that one.
yeah, it was pretty scary. So you had to like face your dolls basically.
That's 2 nightmares in one. It's
Kinda,
like
yeah.
face your dolls so they don't come to life, and also you could suffocate if you don't.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just
I tested the sheet thing because like I often I have focus issues too, so often to go to sleep I just have to
Really?
shut everything down.
Zip it right up.
Like this world doesn't exist, and I'm in like sleep pod now.
I'm so bad at sleeping because my phone's right there, and there's some good stuff on YouTube that I put on the Watch Later playlist that I could probably check out all night,
I feel like I haven't checked into my Read Later tab on Facebook in like 2 years.
Really? I'd
Probably.
say I update it daily, and I'd say I have
download
hundreds of
it
things
later.
on there. Yeah.
But like you access it and you do read it later. Interesting.
Yeah, like
Right.
I'd say I don't
I
even know
rarely
how
come
to
back.
attempt that technology.
Maybe you don't have a YouTube account.
I think I do. I have a channel, so I should have one.
Oh, you definitely do.
But the animals are like dolls coming to life. Like that was already my reality for a short time when I was a kid.
Really?
And they all had to have their head above the covers. Like if I tucked them in, like they all had to be like comfortable.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
You know,
thoughtful.
and they were just like lining my bed. Like I was just like weird OCD.
Oh, I had that too. I also had like a wall full of eyeballs, like which seemed normal at the time, but like
What
turns
kind of
out
eyeballs?
like cut out pictures of eyeballs. I was just like, I was like, it's cool and weird. I think I'd probably seen it in
Mad Love.
like, was that the Drew Mary?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I saw it in that and was like,
Did you catch that reference?
Oh.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
well, no, and I was like, oh, someone else does this, but then she was like a crazy character, and I was like, maybe I'll take that down.
That
I
whole
don't know.
hobby I've had.
That was
Yeah.
like you being like, I'm embracing my crazy.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's a
not-
fine thing.
I mean, I just thought it was sort of weird, and I was into being unusual, so I don't know.
Eyes are cool.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
people watching me. It was just like, I like eyes.
I like eyes.
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe Drew Barrymore was the sane one in that movie. She did go
Right?
see 7 Year Bitch right at the beginning of that movie. It's another reference. You probably don't know.
I don't.
Yeah. That was a Riot Girl band.
She's too young.
I know. That's okay.
It's not her fault.
I like this doll talk. Have you ever had a ghost experience?
A ghost experience? No, I'm too like, yeah, like I can barely watch cartoons and like be like, you know what I mean?
Like suspend disbelief?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
hard for me
okay.
to. I can't really watch a lot of fantasy films.
I can't
and
either.
yeah, I
Really?
Yeah.
This never happens.
This is
I hate
crazy.
fantasy.
People get mad at me that I don't.
I know.
I don't
I've
like
never-
Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Me
like
neither. I've
people
never
get
even
really-
read Harry Potter. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. I fell asleep 3 times
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
I bailed
Are you
after
so
the first
offended
one.
right now?
Oh no.
Just disappointed.
I
deeply.
understand the Lord of the Rings.
got a
I've
tear.
definitely fallen asleep too.
Yeah.
It's funny how this really divides people because people get very emotional about if you like Game of Thrones or not. Like I just can't do it. I can't.
Never
I
watched
would
I've
it.
tried.
Not a
I've watched
single
like
episode.
8 hours.
Same thing. I would
Zero.
fall
Yeah.
asleep to that fucking map with the song. I pass out every time.
Yeah.
I want to like it because I want it cultural events. I'm interested in why it's successful and why people like it. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I have a theory. I think it's people who, so there's people who are frightened by like real life.
Yeah.
So they find thrillers and like suspense movies to be potentially more frightening,
Yeah.
and like movies that are so fantastical as not to be real,
Yeah.
just annoying. And then there's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with it's just like a personality thing, and I
guess
think
so, yeah.
and I think people are divided on a certain line like that. It's just
People get
less
really
common.
mad if
Yeah.
you don't like the fancy stuff they like, I find.
I feel like why does everybody have a British accent? Is
That's a
one.
good point.
That's where
Two,
fantasy comes from.
Why is everybody? Yeah. Why is like vaguely Elizabethan. You know what I mean? Like I don't like it.
It's like this was set in Russia.
It's like even if it's on a whole other planet, it still feels sort of like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I don't like it.
Great reference.
I don't like any
I love that.
period pieces. That's like my last period piece was Prince of Thieves, I think.
Really? Yeah, I'm not really
go back
into period pieces either. Like the stuff that I enjoy watching are basically devastatingly depressing things about drug dealers that are currently living or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Breaking Bad, a minute in, I'm like, this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen.
Totally.
And then I was really captivated because there's no dragons in it.
Mm-hmm. See, I like that Better Call Saul.
Love Better Call Saul.
Totally. I love that. And
it's
like that, even Breaking Bad was a little bit, like I didn't really hook into that.
Wow, but you did Better Call Saul?
Yeah, well, I love him for one.
Bob
He's
Odenkirk.
Amazing. Yeah. But also, like, I don't know. Yeah, I really I'm drawn to very grounded, depressing, I love
I call them soul punchers.
I love BoJack. I love
BoJack.
I just finished binge watching Girls. It was amazing.
Love Girls.
Yeah. Like, so it's just like something about really real shows I'm like drawn to. Like,
Girls
really
made me laugh loudly just so often because it's so Vancouver, their problems. It's just... And Portlandia too. I'm like, this is my life.
Yeah, it's true.
Everything about it.
I feel like Girls, I still watched it, but I didn't like it as much as the seasons rolled on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
kind of gets disappointing when you like.
I love,
even when they start to sort of have a bit of success as characters, you're just sort of like, you're no longer struggling in an interesting way, and then there was just all the blowback. But I mean, I feel like there were a lot of really interesting things about that show, and it just overtook it.
I think the comedy for that. In that show, to me, is how precious everybody is about the things that, like, Adam Driver. He's so funny in it.
He's so hot.
You don't, he's very hot, but you don't realize it at first. But he's just so easily offended, his sensibilities. Like, Hannah, like every episode, he has a moment like that. Version, Thanks. I never tried that before.
Oh, it's like if you go back
Simon
and watch.
King back here.
Oh yeah.
He just walked in.
We all
I believed you.
Moments a minute
We're all
ago.
too in love.
But Reality Bites doesn't stand up very well under rewatching because the Ethan Hawke character is like also a bit of a dick. Like he's just kind of like so aloof. And I think as a teen I was like, he's a cool dude, but like, no, that's not cool.
Oh, good. I won't watch it again then.
I love Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, me too.
Are
we the same person?
Have you guys seen Boyhood?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it blew my mind.
Filmed it over like
25 years.
I think he's doing another
the
one
same
like
actors.
that too.
And it's Ethan Hawke is the dad, and Patricia Arquette's the mom.
Oh,
and it's the
love
real
her.
same children from the beginning of the movie to the end, and it's filmed over a 20-something year period.
That's cool.
And it's
really good.
Richard Linklater did it. Who did?
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
It's really
Scanner
good.
Darkly and Waking Life, and I love
all those.
It's underrated,
Stoner
I
classics.
think, because
Bow.
it was like a big deal when it came out, and then I feel like no one really talks about that movie, but I really love it.
Yeah, no, it was good. She won an award for it, I think.
Did she?
Arquette? Yeah.
Oh.
One of the big ones.
Maybe I'm out of touch.
A Globe.
A Globe of the golden variety.
I can't remember. Some
You
sort
just
of orb.
keyed in to Jackie's sensibilities.
Really?
A globe. That's something she would totally
A Globe.
Yeah, that's something you totally spit.
Jackie, any ghost experiences or no?
Well, I think that my cats see ghosts.
Really?
I do believe in that. Sometimes they'll just be really actively staring at a wall or
That's
something.
terrifying when they're just suddenly like...
Yeah, and you're like, what's going on? And they're like, they're just talking to ghosts.
Just talking to ghosts.
Okay. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so I just thought of when my mom and my dad, so I was born in England. I was born in Durham, England. Cool. It's like the northeast side of the island. And my mom was very pregnant with me at the time. And then she had like two 4.5-year-old twins.
Okay.
So already creepy. And then they lived in a apartment that was over this pub that my dad managed.
Whoa.
And so my mom would say, like, she would catch my sisters talking to another person. Oh. Like, fully in a way that they're both interacting with a person that coincided with both so there's an actual person there. And then she said, like, random things would happen, like the windows would be closed and like things would blow and then she would just, I think she named like the she thought it was a little girl named like Angela or something. Like, yeah. So
Ghost Angela.
Alexi's so scared right now.
Yeah, and then how terrifying though, because they have to be informed that they had like an imaginary ghost friend, like.
Yeah.
Because if they're both like agreeing on the like conversation, like everyone's like.
Yeah.
Like my mom would just observe it.
Wow.
But my mom was also a witch, though.
Go on. Go on, Amber.
Yeah.
My mom was like, okay, she had to like tell my grandparents like she didn't want us going to church anymore because we were raised Christian, and and she basically brought us to church to like respect them, and they supported our family a lot and stuff. So at a certain point, she was just like, she does tarot cards, and she like believes in a lot of different spiritualities and stuff. At a certain point, she was just like, okay, like no one has to go to church. I'm not gonna like tell the kids they have to go to church anymore. They can go if they feel like it, because I'm a witch. Oh my God. But yeah, like no, she like in a Wiccan way, like in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was just like way more open-minded and accepting of all different types of.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's a really weird thing I've never talked about before, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I have like a big book that was hers at home, and I gotta read it. It's good.
That's so
it's gonna have
cool.
some good stuff.
A lot of
in
witches
there.
in Vancouver.
Yeah, I could see that. A lot of witches here.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I don't have a ghost story personally, but my mom kind of has one. And so I have this thing that my mom is psychic, but she had this experience and it was so frightening to her that she repressed it. And I didn't know about it. She never told me about it, but like we were visiting some of my parents' friends and they were all drinking, and then they told us. And then I was like, Mom, did this happen? And she's like, yeah. And so the story is that my dad was at home. So my parents were married, no kids, living in this house. And my mom was working and my dad was home, and a friend had come over and they were drinking. I don't know, watching a game. I'm not sure what they were doing. And my mom was like late getting home from work because she was a nurse, and she like came upon the scene of an accident and like had to help someone who had been hurt or whatever, and then they went to the hospital. So she was late for that reason, but when she got home, she was like, hey, turn on the news, like I'm so curious to see if this is on the news already or whatever. It seemed kind of serious. And then she described like the intersection and everything, and it wasn't on the news, but whatever. And then the next night that accident happened in that place.
What?
That she said.
Oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah,
It's
so
like you just mentioned ice cream to Amber.
yeah, so my mom had some kind of weird sort of psychic experience of like, I don't know, being ripped through time and space somehow.
Like quantum physics.
I don't know, but it's spooky and cool. Yeah.
So crazy.
I used to have a joke that was like, my dad has a photographic memory and my mom's a psychic, so I always have the feeling like I've seen something before, but like I haven't. So
Just cancel each other out.
they do, yeah. They don't pair well.
I had Ola Dad on here, and I was talking. He super believes in ghosts, and I was telling him, like, dude, I wish I was haunted. And he was like, no, you don't. It like really bothered him that I said that. Like he felt like he saw me curse myself.
Like you invoked it.
Yeah. He's like, no. Like he cares about me and he doesn't want me to have that experience. Yeah.
He's also sitting next to you.
Yeah. I don't like it's funny because me and my girlfriend went to Universal Studios a couple months ago, and there's a ride that is it's the Walking Dead thing, and all it is you walk through and fucking zombies jump out at you, and it's like
boring.
Not fun for me. It's this
I
is
don't like that
stressful.
either.
And what happened was we were walking, and a zombie comes out of a flaming house and then runs back in, and then there's some behind a chain link fence, and then up top there was a guy, and he was not a zombie, he was just like an army guy, and he had a machine gun. And I was looking at him, I'm like, that's a good job for that guy. Like, he's probably a struggling actor in California, and this is like a good gig for him. And then as I was looking at him, there was just an on-fire zombie right here, and I was like, ah! And I like cocked my fist to hit him. But not in a tough way, it just scared me. And then, so that set off a chain reaction, so now I'm scared of this guy, and then there's another one coming this way, and so I'm like, it's not fun.
I did.
I don't know why I brought that up.
I don't like that kind of thing either, though. Like
I did like a run where it's called a zombie run.
Yeah.
And I did that with like my old roommate from Toronto. For some reason, we put ourselves up to this.
Your arms out?
We didn't train. It was like a obstacle course, like a 5-kilometer obstacle course, and it was so terrifying.
Why did you sign up?
They're supposed to like grab like the flag from your belt, like so. Like if you got all 4 flags taken, you're zombie. Like so, yeah. So like I guess the 4th one's your bit, right? Like, but it was so scary. I didn't expect it to be this scary. We went under a fence, and if your butt touched the like steel, like you get electrocuted.
What?
Yeah.
Did you have to sign a
but,
contract?
Like, mildly, like I guess like in like you could feel it, but it was like super mild. Like, but it was so. And I like the next day, my hamstrings, like all my body was killing me because I had to like I'd be like jogging, and then I'd have to do a full sprint away from this like way too fast zombie. By the way, the zombies are going too quickly.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
Zombies these days. I tell ya.
That's
but
fake.
it was like my body was so, and I was just like, I don't have any clue why I put myself up to this.
Yeah.
Like,
just like normal TV shows scare me. Like I don't need extra fright in my life. I don't know. I'm like haunted by like just
the
living.
Office.
yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, I always get after my partner when he puts like The Sopranos on right after I get home from work. I'm like, dude, I'm exposed to violence and darkness constantly. Please shut this off.
Remember this from earlier?
Yeah. Like, I'm not in the mood, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, same. I can't even watch like horror movies or anything anymore. It's just too much.
Yeah, I just don't, like I don't know if it's like yoga or like the training I took for like stuff like that, but like they say, like you're exposing yourself to that, like that's on you. That's like a kind of not healthy habit of like putting this like into your head. Like you could be like focusing your attention on more positive endeavors and projects and stuff. Like,
I mean, I guess the argument is that it makes people feel like they've survived something, and there's this communal experience, and it's like an adrenaline thing. But I just feel like there's other ways to do that.
Just go out in the world and experience life, and you'll get adrenaline. Trust me.
I've watched The Exorcist like 6 times. I'm a survivor.
You are a survivor.
Scary. Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
The whole of the tongue thing.
Yeah, it's terrifying. A lot of vomit in that one.
I remember when they remade that. So then we went out to see the remake when I was like in high school, I think, and they added that part of the
where she walked on the stairs
spider.
like a spider.
Oh my gosh, that was bananas.
You know what's funny is I remember seeing that and seeing that scene. I'm like, I see why they cut this. It was like pacing wise, it was like.
No, it didn't. It didn't have consistency with the rest of the.
It was like the most CGI moment of like an otherwise practical effect movie. Linda Blair, who she's a little girl in it, she sustained like permanent injuries from that movie because
they had to walk her like a spider down.
Yeah, they had to twist her head on backwards.
Oh my God.
No, like they had this harness on her that they just yank on all the time, and it like gave her permanent back injuries.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, really brought it down there. Have you guys had any horrible roommate experiences?
I think I was the horrible roommate.
Oh, Amber, what did you do?
I mean, I didn't do too much damage.
And that's the problem.
I had a Christian upbringing, so like everything I did was quite mild, but
Christians do crazy shit.
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Can I tell you?
I was a hoarder with my one roommate.
That's my next question.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you hoard?
So we were just in a 1-bedroom. So it wasn't even about like the fact that we hoarded. We just had a normal amount of stuff per person, and we were both in a 1-bedroom, and I was living in the living room.
Oh, yeah. So
when I first started comedy, I was in a bachelor, and then quickly I realized I'm not going to be able to afford living in a bachelor.
Yeah.
Also, I had like a crazy ex-boyfriend following me around a bit. And so I had to like relocate for a number of reasons. But yeah, it was bad. I have an old joke where I can't find my like house keys or my bank card or something. And then we're like looking for it for like a half an hour. And then we're like cheering and like jumping up and down when we finally found it.
Yeah.
Like, but in the midst of it, we find, like mittens. No, wait, this isn't Mittens. Mittens was a live cat. Yeah, it's an oldie, but a goodie.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but it was like, it wasn't obviously that severe where we lost the cat, like, but it was pretty bad. And both of us have like maintained way better lifestyle regulation in our respective living spaces now.
I remember when I first moved out of my parents' place, I moved in with a friend, and he was laughing at me. He's like, Kevvy still collects magazines. Like, I guess you're supposed to throw them out after you read them. I just had these stacks of them.
No, keep them, because they don't
Yeah.
decompose.
Thank you. Yeah, I might
Might
read
as well
that
keep
again.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I had I had like a housemate. Like, we were both in the bottom of a house we shared a front door, but we had separate units basically.
Yeah.
And we got along fine until we didn't. And that was basically like, I was working in film at the time, and so I had really intense hours, and like sometimes a rap party would be on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think once I had really loud sex at like 3 a.m, and she lost her shit, and it got ugly. I don't get mad at people. I'm not really like a get mad person. And it's like the only time in my whole life, I think, where someone was shouting at me, and I had to like shout back and be like,
Can't even
listen,
imagine it.
it's reasonable for me to be able to do like have a crazy night once in a while. Like, this is the first time this has happened in 2 years or whatever. And it was pretty tough, but I moved out pretty quickly after that. I couldn't handle her. Like, she just, I don't know. I must have triggered something in her, and she was having a whole other experience that had nothing to do with me, because it was a lot.
Yeah, because like, this sounds pervy, but if you love somebody, you deal with their loud sex.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
no,
she hadn't had intercourse in a while.
I'm sure that's part of it.
It's gotta be
but
it.
yeah, who knows? Anyway, I don't know.
Just put
I wish her well.
headphones in. You know?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. That's like free live porn. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah.
No
On top of it,
subscription
like,
necessary.
I hate to like take it down a notch, but on top of it, it was like actually a situation where the person was like being physically aggressive with me in a way that was also uncomfortable for me. So I was having my own whole like intense experience, notwithstanding the like roommate also piling on. And like,
Oh man.
yeah, it was like a terrible experience.
Oh my god.
But you know, whatever.
I have a friend who she moved into a place with a bunch of other people by this one guy who was kind of running the house. And the night that she moved in, he texted her from the other room that he's in love with her. That's entrapment.
Oh.
Now she's stuck there.
You
That's
keep
so
it in. You keep it in. You
suppress
bury
it.
Bury
Suppress it.
Never
Yeah.
show your emotions.
Exactly. That is exactly what we should learn
If you
from
do
this.
that person will reveal to you something that will stop the love. They will eventually. You just hang in there, and like something they will be doing.
true.
Will
Yeah. Hang in there till you're unattracted. That's the motto of my
exactly.
life.
And then you like are like you feel so powerful after that too.
Yeah.
You're just like yes.
Dodged
Like-
a bullet.
Yeah, I don't even like you at all anymore.
This
That's
person
when I feel the
chews-
most powerful. Is when I,
This person chews with their mouth open.
oh, man.
You know, like
I feel like somebody told me that that's like a little piece of life wisdom that I got at some point, which is that you know how you feel about someone when if they eat loudly or something, you either think it's cute or you like want to murder them. That's how you know where you're at.
That's so romantic. You know, what if they were chewing with their mouth open and it was a 15 patty burger? And that's a callback, and that's the end of the episode.
I just pass out.
What's y'all's social medias so people can follow you?
I actually just want to I just have my heart in a project that I want to plug.
Oh yeah, please do.
So I'm doing this show. It's called the Holiday Hygiene fundraiser for my work, and there's tickets are $25. It's at 605 West Pender, which is the Keto Caveman Cafe. You get something to eat. You get to give people that need money, gifts for Christmas, and then I'm gonna headline it. So Susie Rossum was really awesome.
Love Susie.
With putting that on. If you want tickets, it's susierossumcomedy.com. And Jane Stanton will be hosting.
Love Jane.
So yeah, it's going to be an awesome show for a great cause. So if you still want to, or you don't know how to give to the needy, then that's going to be a fun all around type deal. You'll feel good and have some laughs, and people will get stuff.
What's the date
that
of that?
needs stuff? December 9th. Thank you for asking me that.
You're welcome.
Monday.
Okay.
Are we? I mean, I guess are we? Is this today that it's?
No, I think it'll probably be. We should probably put this one out after. relatively, probably next week, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll plug my show tomorrow.
Probably put it out of order so we can plug Simon's, and we don't need to talk about this on the podcast.
Sure. No,
it'll
it's
be
important.
before that.
Sure.
When is your?
Well, I have a weekly show called
Okay.
Foxhole Comedy, so
Awesome.
you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Foxhole Comedy. And yeah, I'm Jackie Hoffart, just by the way. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ostensibly clear, which it's like a weird thing. It was like a quote, and it was like my live journal, and then I just sort of ran with it.
Journal.
And yeah, so anyway,
It's a wicked show. I do the room quite often. It's always a great
Wednesday.
crowd and a great lineup, a very diverse lineup of perspectives that are maybe not showcased as much as they should be in this.
Yeah, we have I think it should be the way that all shows are, but we have a booking rule that's sort of like the overwhelming majority of the acts have to be somebody from the community that is women or non-binary folks or people of color or queer. So that's the majority of the lineup every time. And by majority, I mean 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8.
Right.
So it's the new normal, but
it's the best.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's been it's every week, a couple of years running now. So.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's the venue?
It's at the projection room above the Fox Cabaret.
place.
So yeah, but I mean, follow us online because there changes may be afoot. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might be switching it up in the new year. We'll see.
Also, I keep forgetting I have a website, so it's www.amberisfunny.com if you want to check out shows. I'm here for one more week in Vancouver, and then I go to Ontario. I'm going to open for John Wing and do some gigs
Amazing.
out there.
And
And then I'm going to go backpacking in Mexico with my partner. Yeah, so...
While zombies attack you guys?
Don't
chase
you
you?
dare.
I'm sorry, I'm just doing another callback. And you're on the new Yuck Yucks compilation, the Vancouver one, which I produced, which just came out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank
And
you
that's
for doing
that. Of course, thank you for being
Thanks for
great
having
on it.
us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Comedy Here Off the Podcast. I've been your host, Kevvy. Thank you to my guests, Amber Harper-Young and Jackie Hoffart. Make sure to follow them on social media. Make sure to follow us on all our social media at Comedy Here Often. And we'll check in with you next week. Bye.